to meet you.
I'm Holden.
And I'm Jake.
We're all college students who are working here right now.
Yep, we're all interns. So does anybody know what we do here? Obviously it's medical, but anybody know? Raise your hand. Yeah, pretty much. We do everything from imaging equipment to diagnostics to, figuring out what percentage of your body is fat, all that sort of thing. So we're gonna do this machine first. This is called Brevera. It is a biopsy machine, and does anybody know what a biopsy is? Probably not. You do? What's a biopsy?
Say someone or an animal died, you dissect them to see.
That's an autopsy.
They sound similar. So the difference is, do you know?
Does it go into them while they're alive?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. So a biopsy can be pretty much from anywhere in the body. While they're alive. So usually in a biopsy, what's taken is called something called a core, and that's the sample that's actually taken of the person's skin or tissue or bone or whatever. Our machine does fatty tissue, right? So it extracts it, and it's kind of like we're going to demonstrate on this apple here. All right. So the whole goal of taking a core is to take a sample of something that might be bad, cancerous or something like that, a sick body part. So what they want to do, it's a sharp instrument, but they basically want to go in and they want to take out a sample that has a proper, cylindrical size or something that's regulated, and they want to try to mitigate or not damage any of the other tissue around, so you have a perfectly centered hole like that, and it'll look like that in the body, or something similar. So Holden will explain what the machine actually does.
So this is Brevera. This is the biopsy device we use, one of the main ones. So this is actually the needle. It's a small, just like if you were going to go to the doctors and get a shot. After the procedure's all done, you just need a Band-Aid, so it doesn't hurt too much. So what they would do is they would put it into the area of the body where they think there might be cancer or any other illness, and they would put it in. And I'm just going to run it quickly so you guys can see what would happen. And you can look here, and here we have a filter where the bad tissue will be sucked through the tubes down here, and then it'll be stored there for doctors to look at after. This is just like a little imaging thing. You just press the foot pedal. So right now it's taking the bad tissue out, it's going through, and you'll see it come out right up here. Let's turn. So there it is. You guys can actually see what it looks like. So it's just right here, there'd just be a little piece, and then the rest could be closed up with just a Band-Aid. And then doctors can take and do x-rays with that. You guys know what x-rays are? Alright. Yep, so they can take an x-ray, that way they can tell whether it's actually bad tissue or not.
And they can take a bunch of samples too, so it's just not just one. They can go in and take multiple swabs in one go.
How would it show you that a bone is broken?
So the picture that you have here, so this is your bone structure here. So if let's say if he broke like a finger or something, you could see the separation in the actual picture there. It would actually show the break, and it would probably be lighter in the background because there's more light getting through the back.
Not only to see the company have succeeded and we have so many employees, but to see how many great children our employees have, of which many of you are those children. So please, I want you to know I'm happy that you might think to see you all here today, and I'm only going to talk for a few minutes before you get to the part of the day where you really have fun. So this is like a punishment before the fun. So here's what I hope you're going to learn today in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about how much fun it is to do engineering and science and research. And I hope today you'll see a little bit, have some fun to make that point, and then I'm going to tell you how much fun it was for me to be in science and engineering. So one thing you'll learn quickly is how the company began, and then I'm going to show you why science and engineering was much more fun than most people think it is. Because, you know, if you see it on television and you read in the newspaper, it always sounds like people doing science and engineering is kind of boring and uninteresting. How many people think science and engineering is boring and uninteresting? Richie, be honest. How many people already think it's fun? Wow, I'm done. So, I want to show you this cartoon, and the reason I want to show you this is because a lot of people who are scientists and engineers think this cartoon is funny because it shows the difference between how people think about science and engineering and how it really is. So here we go. I hope the sound comes through.
I'm worried about little Dilbert. He's not like other kids.
What do you mean?
Yesterday, I left him alone for a minute, and he disassembled the TV, our clock, and the stereo.
That's perfectly normal. Kids take things apart.
Oh. The part that worries me is he used the components to build a ham radio set.
Oh dear.
Is that bad?
Normally I'd want to run an EEG on him, but the machine isn't working. It's worse than I feared.
What is it?
I'm afraid your son has the knack.
The knack?
The knack. It's a rare condition characterized by an extreme intuition about all things mechanical and electrical and utter social ineptitude.
Can he lead a normal life?
No. He'll be an engineer.
So that is the reason I showed you that is that's not the truth. It's not going to be a bad thing if you do decide to be a scientist or engineer. And I'll show you why. How many of you in the room ever heard of something called Sputnik? No. See, now this is very interesting because Sputnik is famous for everybody over a certain age because in 1957, the Soviet Union was now called Russia, we used to be called the Soviet Union. They launched the first satellite ever in the history of the world. And it circled, and you've all heard of satellites now going around the Earth. This was the very first time anyone in the world had ever launched a satellite. And it was such an amazing event at that time that I made a decision just when it happened that I would go into a field called space science. And in fact, it was such a big event that it motivated the United States to make a big effort to try and send people to the moon. And I'm going to now play for you the sound that the satellite, the first satellite, made when it went around the Earth. And for people who heard the sound, it was like a revolution had begun. And just for fun, this is. So that's just something of interest. It's the first noise that was ever generated from outer space to the Earth. And I'm only showing this to you because it started me on the career that I'm now going to describe to you what I did after I first heard that satellite sound. This is a picture of something in the sky called the Crab Nebula, which is a collection of stars many light years away. The Crab Nebula just so you know, it is a supernova, and a supernova is a star that exploded. And this supernova, when it exploded, it was so bright that it could be seen by Chinese astronomers with the naked eye, and it lasted for 2 years. So it's a tremendous astrophysical event. Well, the only reason I mention that was the first thing I did when I decided to do something in space science was to work on trying to take a picture of that supernova with X-rays instead of with light. You see the picture on the right is what that supernova in the sky looks like if you look at the X-rays coming from it. And the picture on the left is what it looks like if you look through a telescope. And this is an experiment I built when I was a student still that went up on a balloon, and it took that picture of the X-rays from the sky. And again, the reason I mentioned it all started when I got excited when I saw that beeping noise from Sputnik going around the Earth. Not that many years later that I told you that the launch of that satellite around the Earth is what motivated the United States to try and land a man on the moon. How many of you here have heard of the moon? Big improvement. How many of you seen the video of the first man landing on the moon? Wow, there you go. And for those who haven't, so the reason I show this picture of the landing on the moon is the second thing I ever worked on was actually a X-ray detector that went around the moon and took X-ray pictures of the moon. Now, I'm going to skip again to another subject. It turned out in the early 1960s, for reasons that you don't need to worry about, it was very common for people to try and hijack airplanes from the United States and land them in Cuba. It turned out there was the time when Cuba and the United States were real enemies, unlike today where they live with each other. But this was the first time any of you have flown in an airport know that before you take your flight, your baggage goes through an X-ray system, correct? You'll notice. You walk through a system, the people, you guys, you walk through a system that sees if you have any metal on your body, but your bags goes a separate system. Did you all know that's an X-ray system? It takes an X-ray of your suitcases and carry-on baggage? Well, this is the first airport baggage X-ray system ever developed. And see if you can recognize anybody in that picture. There's a tall, thin person there. Does anyone know who that might be?
You.
Yeah. So, you can see how long I've been having fun working with X-rays from this picture, which shows when I started. So, that baggage inspection system, you go to an airport today, you'll see one's a modern version that looks just like this. And that was the first product I ever worked on, to develop a system that could take X-rays of the bags when you go to the airport. So think how much fun that was to do it the first time ever. Shortly after that, it turned out, and I can't show you this, it's not that clear, but if you turn that baggage X-ray system on its side in your mind, it's really the same, it's almost the same thing as an X-ray bone densitometer, which you will be building later? Yes? Maybe. Well, it's not. But one of the company's first products was this device to measure the bone density to see if people have osteoporosis. And just so you get the connections between all these things, this is really not too much different than taking a baggage x-ray system that you see at the airport, turning it on its side, and instead of putting the patient on a conveyor belt, the x-rays move across the patient. And that was the company's first product. And these are the people, this is all the people in the company at the time who helped create our first product. And all those people still communicate, many of these people still communicate with each other over the years because it was so much fun and exciting working together, building something. So all of these stories are meant to give you a feeling that you can have a lot of fun in this field as well as do really neat things. So this is where we are today from that beginning. I'm pretty sure I kept this as short as I thought it was probably longer than you wanted, but as short as I was asked to. And now we built a whole bunch of products here based on that initial picture I showed you. It all kind of all started with measuring X-rays from outer space at the Craigs Nebula. So my final words to you guys today is the following. You now know how the company started, and here's why science and engineering, and maybe for some of you guys too, you'll find it as much fun as I did, because you can start off in thinking about this space physics and wind up working in all these different interesting areas for your entire life. And every one of those things we worked on was fun to do. So I hope at the end of the day you'll see you can have a lot of fun in science and engineering.